What happens when you take an insanely fast fighting game like Smash Bros, requiring split-second reaction times, and throw all of that in the bin to make it turn-based? Well, you get this game, Ivy Sly's Your Only Move is Hustle. My name is Artie, and this is my thing of the month. Let's get into it. Let's start by talking concept. YOMIHUSTLE is pretty much exactly what I just described, a side-scrolling fighting game much like Smash or Stick Fight the Game, but turn-based. Throughout a game, you'll be going more or less frame by frame in a fight, picking out which move you'll be doing next from a list of available moves. Here's the fun part though, you can see the moves your enemy is able to do, and they can see the moves that you're able to do. This means that you're able to try and predict what move your opponent is going to do and counter it, and that's pretty much the crux of the game, an insane version of rock, paper, scissors with a billion extra steps. It's great. You can play as one of 5 characters, the ninja, cowboy, wizard, robot, and mutant, each with their own unique movesets. The ninja is super fast and great at keeping your opponent in a combo. The cowboy, my preferred character, is also great at combos and can teleport around the arena. The wizard is a ranger with high damage potential, the robot is a tank that's great at ground control, and the mutant is a character that can attack with incredible speed at the cost of dealing slightly less damage. Each character has their own strengths and weaknesses. The robot, for example, can be incredibly powerful on the ground, but once it's in the air, its power is significantly decreased. There's a whole bunch of other stuff aside from your basic moves. Each character has a few special moves, which usually show up as attacks of opportunity, like the cowboy's Impale, as well as defense moves, allowing you to juke your opponent by blocking their incoming attacks, and super moves, which use experience gained from building up your super meter. These moves let you do crazy attacks, like the wizard's Spark Bomb, or move around quicker, like the cowboy's Teleport. The last thing to mention about the actual makeup of the game is this little blue ring, the DI wheel. Much like the right stick in real-time fighting games, this lets you juke your opponent by flying in a direction of your choice when you get hit. It's super useful when you've been bashed into a corner and have seemingly no other way of getting out. As I said, most of YOMIHUSTLE consists of trying to predict what your opponent is going to do next, and the sheer amount of moves each character has can make this a really tricky task. If you want to be good at the game, you're going to need to get used to how each character works, as well as how people normally play them. For example, I know from experience that wizards really like bombarding you with projectiles, mutants really like keeping you in a long combo, and robots like keeping you close to the ground. So I've tried to form my own strategies around how to beat each of them. I usually don't, but hey, I'm getting there. It is unbelievably satisfying when you successfully manage to predict someone's move and counter it, usually letting you get the holy frame advantage, basically the number of frames you have to try and lock your opponent in a combo before they can start attacking you back. Speaking of combos, a good one can be just as fun as successfully predicting your enemy's next move. Having your enemy mid-air and absolutely pummeling them with attacks they can't possibly defend against makes me feel very evil, but in a good way. And occasionally, you're able to combine those two things by predicting when your opponent will use their burst, an ability which allows them to block your attack and send you flying. If you can figure out when they're going to use that burst, you can block it and keep them in a combo that now they're even more useless against. It's incredible. YOMIHUSTLE's true genius, though, lies in the thing that happens at the end of each round. After you've defeated your opponent, or more likely been defeated yourself, you'll be shown a full-speed replay of the fight, similarly to in Super Hot, which replays your run in normal time once you've beaten a level. And these replays are awesome, especially if you've had a particularly long round with really close results. The replays manage to perfectly encapsulate the vibes of all of those old stick fight animations, what with all of the crazy fast movements and insane visual effects. As an added bonus, you can show it to someone who doesn't know the game is turn-based, and it makes you look like you've got the reflexes of the Flash. You're also able to save your replays and go back to them later, meaning I can finally have an accessible library of each and every time I've won something. I'm not a narcissist, I promise. Overall, YOMIHUSTLE is an absolutely incredible game, with some of the most insane turn-based combat I've ever seen. It's definitely not the biggest game I've ever talked about on Thing of the Month, hence why this episode is a bit short, but I've been having so much fun with it that it's definitely deserving of the title. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you at some point in the future. A goodbye.